Alright, crafty cuties, this video we are making a junk journal. It's going to be a vintage door like the Sherlock Holmes store, and I'm obviously not the first one to create a journal like this. I do just want to kind of give a shout out to Nick the Booksmith. She's the first person that I had ever seen make a journal like this, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm copying the idea or anything like that. I am making this for someone who asked for it, and they really liked Sherlock Holmes and the whole vibe, so I'm making it for them. I'm going to try to put my own spin on it, but it's going to definitely look familiar if you watch other junk journals, and I just wanted to get that disclaimer out of the way. So I'm going to take you through the whole process. It's going to be long. I have drawn out a very quick little version of what I want it to look like. This isn't like even or anything like that, just I'm going to, anyways, you know what, let's just set that aside, and we're going to start out. I am actually just going to be covering a book because I didn't have any chipboard, so I'm going to start by gutting this book. Now, this video is going to be somewhat messy because it's just going to be like every part of the journal. I don't think I'm going to fast forward anything. You're just going to see it in real time, which you're going to see it's probably going to take me a while. So there might be times when I'm not talking. There might be times when my kids are in the background talking, yelling, who knows. I am going to be using, you know what, I'm just going to cut, well, anyways, let's just see. Now that I think about it, I'm just going to actually cut this off because I'm just using the cover. I'm not using the spine, so I'm just going to cut it. Ugh. You could have gutted the book if you wanted to use this spine, but by the way, I have a full video gutting a book if you actually want to see how to do that without ruining it. You can just type in gutting a book, comma, I'm a cool mom. Find that very easily, or I'll try to link it below. Okay, so obviously this is going to be part one. There's going to be probably a lot of parts. Okay, just trying to clean this up a bit because it does help to have clean edges here. And then I'm going to grab my spine that I already have made, and we're going to cover the entire thing in muslin. I like to do that just for a base to start off. That's good enough, actually. Okay, so I have my muslin cut here. I need to go grab, and I know we're covering up a pretty book and everything, but it's just a Reader's Digest book. I have a bunch of these. It's just sitting on my shelf, not getting used. I honestly couldn't even sell these covers for more than probably $3-4, so I might as well just use it. Let me grab my spine. All right, I have my spine. This is 2.5 inches wide. So I'm just gonna place these on my muslin. I like to leave about 1/4 inch. I'm just going to do a flat spine. I can't remember. I'm hoping she didn't request a curved spine. I really like curved spines for the looks. I think they're really pretty, and it's pretty easy to do. I do have a tutorial somewhere in my channel doing a curved spine, but I know that this person is wanting to, this is a journal that's going to be very special to them. They are going to be working in it a lot, and while I think that you can make a curved spine and have it be not fragile, what's the opposite of fragile? I don't know, my words aren't coming today. Anyways, I think that you can have a curved spine and have it very well made. I feel pretty confident in the curved spine journals I've made, but if you are going to actually be journaling, writing, and working in them a lot, it is a little trickier because you can't lay your journal flat. And so I'm just gonna take the initiative here and I'm making a flat spine, and I just feel more confident doing that. So I might put some, I might go ahead and do something fun with this spine. I haven't decided yet, but either way, I'm just starting out by covering this as like the base. Okay, you know what, I could have done this better because I don't need this much fabric. So I'm just actually gonna trim this down quite a bit here on both sides. Yeah, and my scissors are not working well, and that's probably because I used them on paper and not just fabric. So anyways, just gonna trim down all of these sides. And yeah, my scissors are doing an awful job, but that's okay. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and glue down all of the fabric sides here. If you can tell, I make sure to add plenty of glue. That is one thing. I do not skimp on the glue. And I also just kind of go with the flow. So you might see me change things up as I go. Now, by the way, you can see the glue right here. That's fine. You can also see the pattern, but I'm going to be covering this up. If you were wanting to just use muslin and you didn't want to have it be see-through like that, I would personally just add 2 layers of muslin. That's just what I would do. There's probably another way around it. Like, for instance, you could cover the front cover with maybe a thin, like I have cardboard here. I would probably cover this with cardboard if I really needed that to not be see-through, but I wanted to use a book cover. So just some ideas. Throughout this video, since it is going to, I think it's going to end up being kind of like slow because I'm just going to show you as I'm going along. It's not going to be the entire making the journal in one video edited down nicely. I'll try to give you tips as I go along. So even though I might not talk during some of the parts, I promise if you stick along with me, there's going to be some tips and tricks to be heard that will be worth it. Okay, now I want to cover the inside, and so I'm just going to take some more muslin, and this is why I like to buy my muslin inexpensively, or what? This is why I like to buy muslin that's affordable, because I do go through a lot of it, but I also feel like adding all of these layers of muslin really makes your book durable. That's the word I was looking for earlier. I think you can make a curved spine and have it be durable, absolutely. But is it going to be the easiest thing to work in? Maybe not. Okay. So now I'm just going to add more glue. I'm just going to add it to this fabric here. And if I'm out of frame, sometimes I'm so sorry. I have the most awful setup right now, but it's just like what I gotta do. It's what I gotta do. Okay, just gonna set this down. Now, something I forgot to do real quick. It's not too late. I like to add lots of glue in this part right here. I guess you would call this the gusset. And lots and lots. So my goal here, I want the fabric from the front, this right here, and the fabric from the back, this part, I want these to go together in the gusset. I hope that makes sense. So let me show you. Right now I'm just gonna use my finger. I'm pushing this down into that gusset, and since I added so much glue, it's going to attach to the fabric that is on this side. So I'm going to turn this over, and I'm just going to keep kind of enforcing these fabrics to be together. I even close it, and we'll do it kind of this way. Now it's good to let this dry before moving on to the next step. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time, but not as much if I wasn't filming. So the part that's going to be the door on our cover, it's actually going to be an entire separate panel. So what I'm wanting to do first is cut out a piece of chipboard that's going to be exactly the same size as the cover. And I mean, I shouldn't say exact. If it's a little off, it's fine, but I want it to be as close to the same size. And then you'll see what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a frame to go around the entire part that's just maybe 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So let's go ahead and work on that. We're gonna set that aside. I think this is going to be one of the most time-consuming parts of the journal. So I'm probably not even going to get through it all in this one video here. I don't think. I would be surprised. Whoops. So I also want these to be straight. So I'm just gonna trim. You'll see. So I'm just double checking that this is the height. Definitely close enough. And then let's see here. Let me just make another little mark and I'll trim that down. Sometimes these books are a tad bit uneven because they are vintage, they do warp. However, I will say these Reader's Digest books are pretty darn heavy duty. Okay, so trim this down like so. You know what? I realize I should have trimmed off a teeny bit of this part. If I mess it up, we can just redo it. Okay, that should be good. Let's see here. And this is all going to end up getting painted. So we don't have to worry about any of the color or anything like that. Okay, so now, like I said, we want a frame all the way around it, and then we're also gonna work on these panels. One more piece of this chipboard, and by the way, this is just recycled cereal box actually, so it's pretty thin chipboard. I don't even know if it would be called chipboard. Anyways, trimming down a second piece that's exactly the same size as the first piece. So we'll have two. And I may end up covering the back too, but if I do, it's just gonna be a plain panel, I think. So I'll worry about that later. Trying to stay on track, do one thing at a time. And on top of the fact that we are going to be covering this with a panel, the panel is also going to be covered in muslin fabric, and then we're going to paint it. So lots and lots of steps. Okay, so we have two now. I'm keeping all of these pieces of cardboard because these will come in handy to create the smaller panels. So the first, I guess, panel topper that I want to create is the frame. So I may need to do a little bit of measuring here and a bit here. This might be kind of tedious, but hopefully this is helpful to someone. I'm using my ruler and I'm going to go around all the edges and mark where I want, which is going to be, I think this is about sorry. 2/4 inch, 2/4 of an inch. It's like between 2 and 3/4 of an inch. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, it's going to be the same all the way around, so I want to go ahead and just mark it so that I can make it as even as possible. So I'm going to draw out the frame first, and then I'll probably use an X-Acto knife. So see, I'm just basically going to go like this. There's probably an easier way to do this, honestly. And again, I don't care about the pen being on here because first of all, I can flip it around, or I can also, I'm going to be covering it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, sorry guys. It's a little hard for me to talk while I'm doing this. So yeah, I feel like there is a better way easier way for me to do this, but that's okay. It's just going to go all the way around. Just want it to be even. And so like I could probably use, I have a larger cutter, like paper cutter trimmer, and I could probably just like somehow put it in that and cut around. I don't know. Either way, this works. Sometimes I do things a little bit more of a long way of doing it, but in my head it's like easier, it makes more sense. I think you guys will get that. I'm also terrified that it's not filming. Okay, it is. And forgive me, need a drink of coffee. My baby, just got that wet, but that's okay. My baby's, Arlo is getting babysat right now by her nanny. First time that she's gone there without me, but her brother Alistair is there as well, so. Okay, I hope I did that right. I'll just take a look in a minute. Sometimes I think you just need to, if you pull your face away and just look at your project, it gives you a better idea of what we're actually looking at. That looks correct. So basically now I'm going to just cut out the middle portion. I have my X-Acto knife here, and to be honest, I don't like using X-Acto knives, but I'm just going to, well, actually this is really easy. On top of the, I have a piece of foam here, that's this white piece. Oh my gosh, it's so much easier. Well, I was going to say, I'm going to just start the cut and then use my scissors, because this would be pretty easy to use scissors with. But I think I did okay. I feel like I might have right here not done that straight of a job, but let's see. We can always. We can always fix any problems. Okay. Yeah, maybe I have a new blade on this one or something, because this is way easier than I remember. Okay, let's see if, did we do it? Okay. Funny, I thought I was all the way through there, but maybe not. Oh no. Okay. Now I'm feeling like I'm gonna possibly mess up here. So I might, just gonna use my scissors to finish. Yeah, for some reason it seemed like it was going all the way through, but it didn't. So here, let me go like this. I hope this makes sense what I'm doing here. See, when you guys get the full version of me crafting, I feel bad for you, because it's like, I'm just a messy crafter. I'm not someone who follows rules. I'm someone who cuts corners a lot. I am not a perfectionist, and I know that irks a lot of people. I'd hardly ever do the same thing twice. So that's also why sometimes filming tutorials is hard, because I'm always doing techniques different ways and how I want and whatever I feel that day. Okay, this was mostly cut through, so. And I am almost at a point where I'm going to also need to stop, so. Let's just trim this up. You know what? I might have been off. Oh boy, I'm still zoomed in. I am so sorry if I was out of frame there. Just carefully cutting around the frame. All right, guys, so we have our frame now, and we're going to basically just be gluing on all of the pieces around. And if you can see, or maybe you can't see, but you can imagine, this isn't very, very thick chipboard. So this isn't going to be extremely like a noticeable frame, I guess, if that makes sense. So if you want your frame or your panels to be thicker, you're gonna have to do either a thicker cardboard or layers. So for this outer frame here, I'm actually just gonna keep it just slightly different. But for the panels inside, I am gonna layer on quite a few and have them sticking out more. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this on, and I'm using my Tombow Mono. I absolutely trust this glue with my life. So, okay, so I'm just gonna glue this on. like I said, I might be really close to a point where I'm needing to take a break here. Guys, I messed up. I thought I was filming and I wasn't. So let me catch you up to speed before ending this video. I decided that I actually wanted this frame to be thicker. I didn't think I did, but then I was imagining putting the fabric over it and covering the base with the fabric, and I realized, you know what? It's not really gonna be noticeable once we put the fabric over it. So what I am doing here, I went ahead and cut out 3 more layers of the chipboard. And I didn't want to make 3 more frames because it was kind of time consuming. So I just did these piece by piece. And so you can see here now, it's going to be 4 layers of chipboard. But again, it's really thin. And so I just cut out each piece, and that's going to be the bottom of the frame. So you're not going to see, it's not going to be noticeable that these are just single pieces versus a whole frame. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm doing now is gluing these pieces on, piecing it together, and then we'll put the frame back on our main base. And I do realize that I actually should have cut this even shorter because we didn't need the whole length. So I'm gonna trim this. I told you guys, I'm just sometimes a messy crafter, but this is how it really goes. So after this, I am gonna let everything dry, and this will be everything that I'm gonna show you on this video, because the next part is going to be adding on the panels, the door panels, and I know that's gonna take me quite a bit of time. So I would rather have this video be done so you can, you know, get the main part of your book done. And I probably should have left this framing for the next video too, but again, it's just gonna be whatever I get done at one sitting is probably gonna be what's on one video. I hope that works for you guys. And I'm not worried about what this looks like because first of all, we're flipping it over, but also it's going to all be covered. So now I'm just adding a generous amount of glue, and we're gonna put it back on our main panel here. And you know what? Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's gonna be just fine once everything is all said and done. It's going to look just fine. Yes, that's gonna be so much better. See, sometimes you just gotta change it up. Sometimes you don't realize. Okay, so there we go. That's a lot sturdier. So again, this is what we got going on. You might not even notice what this frame looks like on camera because, you know, it's very subtle. The dimension is subtle on camera, I'm sure, but in person, I can definitely see that nice lifted frame now. And then we'll work on the inside panels here on the next video. So I hope that you guys like this messy series. I can't even promise how long this is all gonna take me to finish up. So you might be seeing these videos for a while, but that's just how it's gonna be going, and show you real life that sometimes these projects take forever. And I'm sure you would like to know that you're not alone if they take you forever too. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for sticking around. I love you guys. Bye.